So welcome everyone to the next edition of Just a Generation. I'm very, very happy today to be welcoming Sione Finefeuiaki, who is a very famous rugby league player, as well as someone who has established the Sione Foundation, based up in Newcastle. Is that right, Sione?
Yes.
Or in the Hunter? So Sione had an 8-year-long career in professional rugby league, was born in Tonga in 1979, played for the Roosters, Melbourne Storm, Manly, Sea Eagles, and finally the Newcastle Knights, where he finished his last competition with the Newcastle Knights, retiring in 2010. He set up the foundation with his wife, Michelle, and 3 children, Penny, Leola, and Isi, in 2017, with the major mission being the rebuild of his old primary school damaged by Cyclone Gita in 2018. I'm so very pleased that Sione could join us today on Just a Generation, because Sione is participating in a program that we've established to happen, an event happening on November the 16th at St. Sabina's School, called Fair Play, and it's looking at social justice through sport, something to add through the arts, social justice through the arts program that we've done for many years, but we thought it was worthwhile actually doing a program on sport. So welcome to Just a Generation, Sione. It's really good to see you here.
Thank you, Alopi. It's always it's an honor for me and a privilege to be able to share my journey with everyone. For me, as a born and raised and brought Tongan, to be able to go back and give back in a positive way, it's something that I will always it's always a blessing for me to go back and do something like that. Yeah.
So let's hear about where you first came from and what took you into a professional sport and eventually to establish the foundation.
Yeah, like you said before, I was born and raised in Tonga. I finished my school year 12 in 97. Then my sister came back to my graduation and asked me what I want to do in life after the school, and I said pretty much the same as every kid over here, just doing nothing. And he asked me to be able to go with her to New Zealand to see if I like it there or not. And she always gave me the option. He always can go back to Tonga. But I love my sports. I wasn't good on anything, but I was loved to participate on any sports come my way when I was growing up as a kid. I wasn't really a kid that I like study. I really like to be active outside, and that's a thing that is really driving me to do things. Even when I moved to New Zealand, I was playing rugby union. I never really played rugby league in Tonga. Rugby league was pretty new back then, and I was playing by rugby union over there in when I moved to New Zealand. And when I played my first rugby league game in Parakart competition, that was the feeder club for the Auckland Warriors, and I was coached by Brian McLennan. He was a former Kiwi and Warriors coach, and he introduced me to Arthur Beetson. He was the recruitment for the Sydney Roosters, and that's how I ended up coming to Australia, because and I didn't know anything about league back then, and I didn't know who he is until I actually get off the plane over here. Everyone asked me what I'm doing here, and I told them the name, and everyone just their eyes light up when every time I told them about Arthur Beetson. Yeah,
very much a legend of rugby league in Australia. So you had it from the very best.
Yeah, and like I said, as a kid, I was only in Tonga in New Zealand for 3 years before I moved here. Was something that I was really didn't expect it to happen, but I was I really live into it. Like I was really enjoying being around all the players that I came in training with. Like Brett Fittler was the captain, and all those players that was around the Roosters that I always watching on TV, and the next minute I'm actually training with them. But I was. But the biggest two things that I was always looking back and thinking that I was struggle with. Of course, the English was the biggest challenge for me, because I was hardly speaking English when I moved from Tonga to New Zealand, and I was only there for 3 years. Then I moved here. And the second was the biggest challenge was culture experience. Don't know what is right to do, and that is always on my my mind about it. If I speak the right words to for them to understand where I'm coming from, and for me to understanding that I'm not disrespecting this culture as well. Yeah, and I have a good like successful for me. It could be not successful to other people, because when we're talking about everyone individual looking at things, for me, successful for me in the was just be able to experience the life of being professional with there was no plan for me. There's no short-term plan and long-term plan for me. It was every day by day. As a Tongan kids growing up and playing in the backyard, and be able to be here and being professional and training with it was not for me on that whole career. When I look at it, it doesn't matter for me if I play first grade or not. I was just happy to be part of the team. But yeah, and that was looking back into it, and through my career, and meet so many amazing people, and even the NIO to be able to give me opportunity to be able to be part of the team on that. I'm always grateful for everything that happened on my journey. And when I finished my career in Newcastle, that's where my family are based now. I always want to give back, but like every Islanders that I talk to, and I know 100% everyone want to give back in a way to the community. And that is the biggest things that I always want to do. And of course, when I was in Manly, was the excuse me, Brent Kite was a big influence for me, because he was half Tongan and he was playing for New South Wales and playing for Australia at that time. And I always talked to him about doing something to give back in a way. But everyone talk about it all the Islanders, they always talk about it. But I know Kaidi was just looking at me and goes, whatever, Sione. But but I can't change that. That was 2006 and 7. I was talking when I was in Manly with him, and that was take me 10 years to actually start in 2017. Because of when I finished my career, become as a husband and father, take myself into that, try to be the best father as I can and best husband as I can. I won't say it's not easy. It's a challenge to be able to be living on your own, doing everything, making decisions on your own was a challenge for me. And yeah, just learning about life, and try to do the right thing for the family. And yeah, it was take me that long when I finished my career in Newcastle, and I finished out with two local team over here in 2009 in Cessnock and in West in 2010, and I decided to retire after that and focus on a family. Yeah, and that's 7 years. Yeah, just just trying to introduce myself to the real life outside being professional was a big challenge for me, especially when I decided to finish. I was just fortunate that I had the support of my wife. For me to go and my first job after my football career was $14.50 an hour. Yeah, it was. It doesn't really. No, it wasn't really affecting me because I always looking back in when I grow up in Tonga, I have no money, because I was growing up with my father only, was a single parent, and we have a food every day, and we don't know when is the next meal. But I always looking at that in a positive way. I said I've still got $15.50 coming into my pocket every hour that I work. But I work and that's the mindset that I had on that time. I never really think that I will do something about the foundation very soon, because I was just focused on being a father and a husband on that time.
So what took you then into that next step of was it Cyclone Gita and the impact on Tonga, or was this something at the right time at the right place?
No, I was actually just working along and doing stuff, and I involved with I do a lot of coaching and training young kids in Newcastle as well. Involve a little bit just doing coaching kids that coming through. And one day in 2017, I got up and said to myself, "It's time for me to do it. It's never be a right time, and I will never have $1 million sitting on my bank account to be able to do it. I'm just going to do it with nothing." And I'm just fortunate that I have a good networking through my footy career. I kind of ringing every person that been a successful sports person and successful in business. And I ring Kaidi as well, and I let him know that I'm actually going to do it. And he even just said, "Yeah, let me know if you can need a hand from me." And we create that and start the foundation with Sione's Academy, because that's my background with sports. And we went on our first trip ever to Tonga in 2017. We only went through only sports. And was successful trip. We went into run sports clinics and workshop in most of the school in Tonga, and kids was loving it, having fun. We give away sports gears, and the kids just we have a ball. But the question from the thing was, we came back and reassessed the trip. I said to the team when we came back, was successful trip, but there was something missing in there. The thing that I have from all the parents and even coaching and teachers, they ask me, "Are you guys gonna do something about? When are you guys gonna take those talent kids back to Australia?" And I make it clear to them, we are not here. We are not in that stage, and we are not looking at that soon. We are just here to promote sports and being active and excuse me. And the thing was, and promote well-being as well, being healthy and being active. And I seen a lot of and even myself finished my career and had seen we still eat the same amount of food, but we're doing less active exercise and things like that. We just want to promote you don't have to be professional to be healthy and being active as well. And that is what we try to deliver in Tonga. We're not here to pick up any kids. We're just here to promote sports and being active and promote well-being as well is a big thing. So to be healthy, it's good for your mental health and your physical health as well. Yeah, and that's when we're coming back in 2017 at the end of that trip. But I went and visit the school that I went to at the primary school in Kolonga, the village where I'm from. But and really hit me when I went and see it. When I left the school was better than when I went back there. It was only 82 kids in this school, and there was hardly any windows left. They all hardly any desks and chairs. And most of the kids when we went and talked to them, they were sitting on the floor. And I came back and I talked to the guys, and I rethinking about restructure the foundation from academy to be foundation. But at the same time on that, I was a long way to do that. But I said to them, we have to focus on giving back to the community before we even do anything outside the community as well. And that's when we start the 2018. From that 5 people networking, the 5 people was myself, Brent Kite, Charlie Tonga used to be coaching Matema Tonga, and Viv Barsi, he's half Tongan, and he was coaching and went to the university in Newcastle over here, Rugby Union, and Tennis Pit. He was involved with Rugby League, with all athletics and all of that. By the networking of that 5 people, when we came back in 2017, we'd be able to put a team together in 2018 to go and rebuild my school. That's our first community project with 42 volunteers, and we sent 2 40-foot containers with all our materials and tools to go and complete the project. And even when I contact the principal and all the people in Kolonga, they said to us, how long you guys are coming here for? And I said, 2 weeks. And they look at me and go, you're dreaming, mate. You know, this job it's going to be a 2-year job for us to get this done. But I always have a big mindset of to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the do mindset. I'm always looking at finding a solution and work with what we got. I actually contact them to do everything they can in that site to prep the school before we arrive with everything to get it done. And they were surprised. It was only a week and a half and got it complete, the whole school, give them all furnitures they need, and even build a library for them as well. And after the renovating the school, I was actually asked the parents what we're going to do with the school now with so many space in that school. And they asked, can I be able to ask the Department of Education in Tonga to put a kindergarten in there, because all the private kindergarten in there is too expensive for them to pay, and hopefully they will be free for them to use it. And I contact the Department of Education and I have a meeting with them, and I just give them the message from the parents as well, because there's so many classroom available in there. Then I came back on that in 2018, and they start the first government kindergarten school in Kolonga after all together. And just to see the growth of the school since we help them every year that we're going there just to check maintenance. The place is going from 82 kids now, from only year 1 to year 6. Now they have kindergarten there, and they have Form 1 and Form 2 as well in that school now. It's almost 300 kids, and that is something that you don't really see it. It's just seeing the growth of what we're doing and the positive impact of what we're doing. It's just something that I will always talk about it forever as well. Yes. But I'll keep that short as well. And we come back and we really think that that's the way that we go about with the foundation. And we came back because every time we go on a trip, this is a trip that we do every year. We call it the annual 8 trip to Tonga. It's going in the school holiday in September and October. We're going for 2 weeks, and we pick a community project and complete it on that time as well. It's all a mix of volunteers. You don't have to be a skill set people to be doing that. You can be a labor for anything. We still take all the carpentry, plumber, electrician to complete the project, but we have people behind the scene to do other stuff as well. And yeah, we travel and we went with nurses and doctors. Then we went to Ewa. Every time we're going to Ewa, and a good friend of mine is Hale Telebo from Sydney over there. When he found out about what I'm doing in Tonga, he asked me if I ever have time, go to Ewa and look what they got. I went to Ewa in 2017 and visited the school there. In 2018, I took our 42 volunteers there just to visit the Ewa, and we went to there was a few doctors and nurses that traveled with us on that time. I sent them to go and see the hospital in Ewa, and they asked them what is their number one need in their hospital, and they asked about hot water to clean all their accessories and stuff like that. And of course, we don't want to promise anything that we can't. We just said we go and think about it, and we go and see if we can. And we came back after that trip, was successful, was amazing. How it's not the thing that we give to the Tongan communities. It's what our volunteers from Australia they get out of it. And that was the biggest things about our annual 8 trip every year. It's what we're giving them is triple of what we're getting out of these people. Or to see them, they have nothing, but they give everything to us to show their appreciation. That's something that, yeah, something that always, and myself is a reality check for me as well. Every time I'm going with the trip to see how fortunate we are in Australia as well. Yeah, and we came back in 2018 and we put another team because nurses and doctors that I know, there was a disability in Tonga. It's a longer disability that when I grew up in Tonga, that was the only disability in Tonga that I know of. And I sent them over to see, because I was thinking about them as our 2019 community project. And they didn't last 2 seconds. They walk in, they all cried back to the hotel and said, Sione, you need to come and see that. I don't know how these people can live in this, especially the disability people. And I jumped in a car and we went and have a look at the disability center in Bear, the Alonga disability. Then I told them, this is our next 2019 community project.
So
then we came back to...
Each year you do a different project. Is that the idea? You identify a different one?
Yeah, that's, yeah. Every year on our annual 8 trip is different community project. And we came back, was fortunate enough, we came back, the Malayan Foundation, there's a plumber company over here. I reached out to them and told them about the need of the hospital in Ewa. And I said, and they said they got some connection on the hot water system. Then we went with 9 of their staff as well in early of the year in 2019, and installed. We sent a container with all the hot water system, and we installed the first hot water system in all the hospital. Even the Viola Hospital don't have a hot water system. Yeah, and just something little, but just so much impacting in the community.
It sounds like there's such a lot that, I mean, obviously there's a lot that can be done, and there's a lot of awareness raising that you do, but also understanding within your own foundation and through the process you do to actually transfer that awareness into action. That's something that we talk about: awareness, advocacy, action being the 3 core sort of ideas within the center's work. If I could just move on to just some other questions, because I've noticed with many Pacific rugby players in the league, including people like yourself, and it's funny you mentioned Brent Clyde. He's a Canberra kid I grew up with. He and his sisters, they're a bit younger than me, but he's actually related to his mum Melly, to our family. So it's a nice connection we've made. So
lovely.
I just see that there's a strong commitment to social justice issues within the Pacific community. And I thought, could you speak a little more on whether this is part of Pacific culture, rugby league culture, or both? And perhaps your thoughts on how younger players coming through can be mentored and encouraged to do more in the community while they're playing, but also after they finish their careers professionally.
Okay. I'll look at it in a. I'll just start from the top, so I don't have to get too lost on that. What it was the first one in the first one.
Okay, so can you speak a little bit more about whether this approach, this sense of community responsibility is part of Pacific culture, or rugby league culture, or both?
Okay, that one there, in my own personal opinion about this, was both. Okay. And even it's both. For my personal opinion, reason to it, us as a Pacific Islanders, we all grow up in a family orientation, and whatever we got, any sense we have, we like to give it back to the community. And in the professional sports in the rugby league, could be someone might be sitting in there and said, I'm totally wrong, but this is my only opinion, is my own experience being a Tongan that actually born and raised in Tonga, and looking into it and being in the system and sitting now and looking back how I'm gonna be impacting in a positive way. It's both, because we Pacific Islanders, we are all about family. We always want to give back in a way. In rugby league, where the system was, they always try to engage with the community in a way of how they're putting their programs around it. But for me, if I want to do something about it, it's exactly the same when I was still playing, want to do something, but there is no clear path in that way to be able to clear direction to able to deliver it and consistent with it. And that's my only could be totally opposite to other people thinking, but that is my personal opinion, being in the system and finished from the system and actually doing what we're doing in the foundation. I think it's both, and all Islanders all grow up. It's in our blood anyway. We always want to give back in a way, but we just need a more direction, how we do it, what is the best system to do it that way. And that's my own opinion to it. Yeah.
Now, the second part of the question was how, younger players coming through can be mentored and encouraged to do more in the community while they're playing, but also be thinking about what they, like yourself, after their career, thinking about what they might be able to do after. I mean, they're in a unique position in many respects, being people with high profiles, with the ability to make an impact from what they do, apart from just their sporting life.
Yeah.
I just thought it'd be interesting to get your thoughts on whether you saw a role for people like yourself and others helping to mentor younger people coming through to understand what impact they can make in terms of social justice.
Yeah, it's a great question, Alopi. For me, in my own personal reason to this and looking into it, we have to be really reality with the kids about how our mentoring and influence to the kids. We are still human. We still make mistakes. We're still learning every day about life and stuff like that. But at the same time, we have to be for me looking into it right now. Yeah, it's just for me, everything that I do for the foundation is about, I have to put a care and love in front of it. Every time I talk to people, I always put, if you put care and love in front of anything you put in front of you, you're going to look at it differently than thinking about how much stuff that you're going to get out of it. You actually really, really go out of your way to actually make sure that actually happen, and you follow up with it. And that is the biggest things that I talk about, that I talk to people about, and I'm doing mentoring and coaching back here with young kids. It's every day we still, even we trying to do our best to coaching them and mentoring them, but we still making mistake, and we still learning every day. Don't think that we always do the right thing all the time. That is reality in life. We're still human. As long we are learn from those mistakes and moving forward. And if there's anything in their life they're really passionate about, go for it. You know, it's always people is a hater out there, but you can't control what people thinking about you. And even myself, when I'm going back to Tonga well, even now, I still know there's a people there. They always say, "What is he doing? But I can't control what they're thinking. The only thing that I can control, it's what I can control in my both two hands, and know my purpose is making a difference to the community back in Tonga, and I want the country to be. And what I spoke about in Tonga, our future with any country is our youth, and we have to investing in the kids, and actually showing them some care, and actually put your arms around them, and actually show them there is someone truly care about them, and follow up with them. Yeah, make sure they need that little 1% help from the other side when they actually just need some advice and need some love. And that's all what I think, what I have been done in the last 6 years, that I see the impact that I love the smile of the kids, and they be able, the first time that I met them, they hardly speak to me any one word. And when I walk away, they come and high five me, and they're laughing with me and talking about silly stuff. And you're just gonna have to treat the kids as a human, and actually give them some, just influence them in a way they're not thinking they're not feel like you're putting them down. There is always a downfall, and always a good on everything, but influence them in a positive way, of raise them with what they're doing really well, and just tell them there's always a downfall on the other side, but that is part of life. You're gonna have to accept that it's gonna be part of it, but just keep driving forward, and just learn from it, and don't get stuck on those things.
Sione, there's so much that aligns your story with actually the Edmund Rice story. So he dedicated his life and fortune to lifting young people up through education, and through giving them the tools to take on those challenges in life, as well as providing them with a pathway to thinking through social justice issues. So it's wonderful to have that alignment. I have one final question, because we are coming to the end of the Zoom call.
Yeah.
They have a limit on the Zoom call. So it is one I ask every person I interview, and it's, if you had 3 pieces of advice for your younger self about your path to social justice now, what would it be? So three things that you might think about, that you could say, okay, because I'm older, I'm wiser, these are things to think about, Sione.
Three things. Three things. You have, first thing is self-belief. You have to be, this is just something that I take a few seconds to think about what is my three things that you have to be self-belief in yourself until someone else believe of what you're doing. And that was really something that I always talk about it with the kids. You have to, whatever you're passionate about and whatever you want to do in life, you have to self-believe in yourself that you can do it. You can always have the other help from the other side, but if you believe on it, even when I first start the foundation, when I go and meet people, I didn't have any expectation from them to believe of what I'm doing. But at the same time, I want them to know why I'm doing this and how I'm going to do it and why I'm doing it. And I want them to understand. And even if they don't believe on it, I'm still, this is what I'm doing, you know.
Okay.
And that is one.
So we have 1 minute and 46 seconds to get the other two.
Okay. And the second, I'm always have faith in God, and that is my leader for the foundation. I always, whatever I can do in my two hand, I'm 100%. I'm self-belief that I can do it, and whatever I can't control in my of two hand, I'll give it to God to control that part. And I'm a big believer of whatever you do in life, you do it for the right purpose. He will direct you to the right place, but he will still testing you the whole way to make you stronger as well. And number three, stay humble, enjoy life. You know, doesn't matter what you have in life, less or big, stay humble and enjoy every second of your life. Live it to your, we only here for a short time, and whatever I do with the foundation, I enjoy every second of it. You're going to do something that you really enjoy in life because you're going to do it well anyway. That's my three things.
Fantastic. They're great three things to end with. Thank you, Sione. It's wonderful to talk to you and look forward to catching up on the 16th.
Yeah, on the 16th. Thank you. Ofa atu, alopi.
Yeah, ofa.